Let's bring in CEO Security Watch Africa, Patrick Agbangbu. He joins me on the news at 10 for more on the developing security stories we're covering. Mr. Agbangbu, thank you for joining us. Let's begin with the emerging terrorist groups as we currently have them gaining ground in Africa. How do you think they differ in strategy and structure from older groups like Boko Haram?
Yes, thank you for having me. Yes, I think these groups are a bit more community-based. When I mean community-based, that they operate mainly within the community as a way to disguise their operations and their presence. Unlike the Boko Haram style of those days, which was to come in and attack. So it becomes a bit more difficult for security forces to easily identify or sift out the law-abiding citizens from these terrorists. So that is one tactic that most of these terrorists, the new terrorist groups are using, and they are now more like cells, different cells, but with different identities and different, even though the mission is still the same, to destabilize the society and extort resources of the people. So, but in terms of style of attack, it's more like within the communities. So it becomes a bit difficult to separate them from the law-abiding citizens.
In terms of regional security collaboration, what gaps are there really preventing African nations, especially in the sub-region, from effectively curbing the spread of these new terror cells?
I think that there are efforts.
I'm asking what you think are the gaps, the challenges for stalling better collaboration in the sub-region to be able to curb these emerging cells.
That's what I'm trying to explain. That recently, you recall that there was the African Chiefs of Defense Staff Summit that was held in Abuja. Indeed. And a collective effort, a collaborative effort were forged at the summit. This is in line with the ECOWAS policy, which Nigeria spearheaded in the last 1 year or last 2 years to ensure that there is a more concrete regional effort. And this has built up to all political differences are being put aside now. Now, the various blocs in the region they are beginning to put heads together with Nigeria leading the front to ensure that all forms of terrorism, whether it's within Nigeria or other countries, are taken away.
You know, the recent comment by former Kaduna State Governor about Nigeria government paying $1 billion to bandits have raised concerns about how government should balance kinetic with non-kinetic efforts. I'm wondering what your thoughts are in that regard.
Yeah, I'm talking about the comments made by the former governor. I will tell you, this political, and I'm happy that the security forces, the leaderships of the various security agencies are not disturbed by whatever he had said. When he mentioned it, there is need for him to provide evidence to prove that indeed money were being paid or given to this. And so it's one thing, but what is actually lacking in this fight against terrorism or insurgency, whatever they may be, it's because there are no governance within the localities, the communities. There is need to have a non-kinetic efforts, operations within these communities to win back these communities. We have so many ungoverned spaces, and the military or the police or whichever security forces cannot handle it on their own. It behoves on all responsible government, whether local government, state government, or federal, to ensure that these lost or these ungoverned spaces are gained back. And that is by providing these non-kinetic intervention projects. You know that there are some communities that don't even have the basic facilities that is required for human existence, according to United Nations standards. So, but those are the communities that are very vulnerable to the attacks by these criminals, these terrorists and bandits and whoever. So I believe that non-kinetic effort is the way forward. Indeed, non-kinetic effort plays about 70% in the whole fight against insecurity.
Security analyst Patrick Agbambu, thank you for talking to us.